Hello and welcome to round 4 of the 2016 Formula Virtual World Championship here from Fuji, Japan. I'm your lead commentator Bradley Downton and I'll be joined today once again by Jamie Franklin.
Hi guys.
Let's take a look through the grid then for the Japanese V-Prix. It's Olen Inman on pole position, his third time in 4 races, ahead of Stuart Harrison. Nikolai Milkovic in third for Ingram, ahead of Johan Halvorsen, championship leader in fourth. Jon Mattsson lines up fifth, ahead of Adrian Simon in sixth. James Harding 7th, ahead of his teammate at Lopez, Jochen van Snelheid. Felix Bayer and Elroy Wagner round out the top 10. Their teammates behind them, Ellington and Ruiz 11th and 12th. In 13th and 14th, Puccio Giordano and Will Hoskins, Carl Beckenbauer and Romano Agostino on row 8. Row 9 is Timo Kinnaman and Carson Davenport. Behind them, the two North Stars of Judson Sykes and Alexei Nowosinski. And then it's a Noah's Ark grid. Row 11 are the two Downtons, Thunder leading Powers. Row 12, Bacon ahead of Hutchinson. And on the back row of the grid, Chiara Thunder and Aaron Einarsson. So we go down to the grid then. We have Olen Inman on pole on the left, Stuart Harrison in second on the right. The lights go out now. We're racing in Japan. It's a great start from Stuart Harrison. It looks as though he's going to pull alongside Olen Inman as they head into turn 1. Inman with the inside line. So Olen Inman leads, Stuart Harrison second, Nikolai Milkovic fends off Johan Halvorsen for third, and Adrian Simon is past Jon Mattsson into fifth.
Yeah, it looks like most of the grid got to go quite cleanly. Not a lot of overtaking from what I can see.
No, we do have a yellow flag in the third sector, so I wonder if, as we've seen in a couple of races already this season, we have someone stranded on the grid as Felix Bayer looks to go around the outside of Van Snelheid, but up in front, Adrian Simon drives clean around the outside of James Harding.
Yeah, brilliant move. But then again, should he really be down there anyway?
Well, no, actually, you think he started, so he's actually, I think he's lost position. He might have been defending that, actually. As, oh, there we go, Felix Bayer around the outside of Van Snelheid. A beautiful move from the Dutchman on the Dutchman.
Yeah, and now Wagner all on the back of that Lopez as well.
Yeah, so Wagner, after a fairly miserable qualifying in the Franklin, down in 10th, although, well, he was still ahead of Ruiz, is, has someone over in the background, and
another
as well. And that was one of the AMRs who's rejoined. Incredibly, but
how is he still going?
I have no idea. But we saw that here last year, didn't we? As well as Adrian Simon down the inside of Nikolai Milkovic, I think that is into 4th place. So Milkovic slips to 5th then, and Halvorsen has gone up to 3rd as well, past the Ingram. But yeah, we saw that here last year, didn't we?
Yeah, it's. I mean, hopefully he's okay. Kudos to AMR for building such great suspension, obviously.
Yeah, well, he's still going. He's just overtaken Marcus Thunder, so although that doesn't take much.
even with a potentially damaged car, you can still get past the Downton.
Yeah. To be fair, I'm pretty sure a 3-legged donkey could get past the
Yeah, I'm sure we'll test that at some point this season.
And yeah, Ellington again, straight past the first North Star of Nowosinski. So Ellington really determined to make back. It's obviously done absolutely no damage whatsoever.
Yeah, he's very lucky to get away with that, and he's definitely been using those super soft tyres to blast his way back through the field now.
Yeah, as up front, that looks like, yeah, that's Stuart Harrison not really being dropped by Olen Inman, and there we're going to see Adrian Simon slipstream past Johan Halvorsen. Is he going to get the move done by turn 1? He's on the outside line. Halvorsen holds the inside, but no, Simon clean around the outside, while behind them the two Ingrams go side by side as well. That's Mattsson down the inside of Milkovic, and he's through into 5th place.
Yeah, just going back to the front two cars, obviously I know it's only lap 3, but you'd expect Inman to be pulling away from Harrison, given that the DS tends to be the quicker car.
Yeah, it's weird. I think that's something we've seen all season, but I think it's more an Olen Inman thing than it is DS. His pace in practice and qualifying is absolutely undisputed. I don't think in the dry sessions, I don't think he's had a gap smaller than half a second. But in the races, he just doesn't seem to have the same pace.
Yeah, just maybe lacking a little bit of experience on the heavier fuel loads.
Yes, I think it's definitely something to keep an eye on this season, because as we say, his one lap pace is incredible. but he just, at the moment, you can't translate it.
I mean, not to discredit him, he's still had podiums this season. He's still doing
Oh, yeah.
pretty damn well, but
Yeah, definitely. But he's not pulling away, and in fact, he's got Stuart Harrison tucked right in his slipstream as they head down to turn one. But I don't think, as we get fastest lap from Adrian Seaman, and actually, there we go. That is, I do believe that's Stuart Harrison through past Olen Inman for the lead.
brilliant move. I was not expecting that when I saw the qualifying results.
No, and that's Lewis Ellington continuing to make his way up through the field. That AMR is flying. I mean, I know he's passing cars that are at the back of the grid, but
Absolutely. Whereabouts is Bayer, out of interest?
I think Bayer's running around 9th, just inside the top 10.
It'd be interesting to see how quickly you can catch him.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see the gap between them as well. As we've now got obviously Stuart Harrison leading this race, but he's not dropping Olen Inman, and closing in on the pair of them is Adrian Seaman.
Yeah, the more experience of the two DS cars, but considering he only qualified 6th, you'd think Olen Inman would want to be a lot further ahead by now. He's yeah, it's a bit frustrating for the Monegasque driver.
Yeah, definitely. Felix Baer is 8th. Actually, he's at some point he's overtaken Jochen van Snelheid. So, and Ellington 16th. So there's 8 spaces between them as Adrian Seaman sets the fastest lap in pursuit of his teammate.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be too long before either team orders come into play or he just blasts his way past anyway.
No, definitely not. As Felix Baer is now all over the back of Nikolai Milkovic, who started 3rd.
Yeah, again, that's the trait of the...
Sorry, that's Enrique Ruiz sweeping around the outside of one of the Ocelots to move into 11th place.
Now that is what I want to see. But going back to the Ingram, it tends to be their sort of...
Oh, is this going to be... Sorry to cut across. I think this is on board with Ellington. Yep, there we go.
So just trying to go down the inside of Wagner there, but catching a little bit too much curb.
Yeah, and I think he was very lucky there in the fact that while he barrel rolled, none of the car actually hit the ground until he was back on his wheels.
Yeah, although I'm sure he's going to have a few bruises tomorrow morning.
Oh, you'd imagine so, and a rather sore back to go with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we cut back to the leaders then, and we have Stuart Harrison with Olen Inman and Adrian Seaman breathing right down his neck, and it is 3 for the lead here in Japan. And in fact, Inman has the run. He's out of the slipstream and he's into the lead already, well before turn 1. Olen Inman steals back the lead from Stuart Harrison and will now attempt to pull away before Adrian Seaman can blast past as well.
Yeah, I think we saw this last year as well. A lot of changing the lead on the start-finish straight, sort of holding back until you can get into that slipstream.
Yeah, but it was obviously a much different race here last year because we had it interrupted by rain. And in fact, I think we had like the top 11 cars finish within about 7 seconds of one another. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was a pretty exciting race. So it'll be interesting to see if this one can live up to the hype of that.
Yeah, well, I just noticed Kiara Thunder has actually retired. So the yellow flag we saw at the start of the race, I wonder if she was left on the grid.
Yeah, looks likely, unless she also took some curb and wasn't so lucky.
Yeah, but yeah, obviously last year's race was affected by rain, and just looking at the forecast, earlier in the week it was predicted that we were going to have rain throughout this weekend, but it hasn't materialised. And in fact, it's a rather nice day here in Fuji, and to be honest, I don't think we're going to get any rain whatsoever.
Well, it's sort of the same as China, as Seaman is looking to get past Harrison.
Yeah, but
Can he just...
Like he's hitting the rev limiter there.
Yeah, just not quite enough straight line speed, but maybe that's why he's been able to make up so much time on the other cars. He's just got a little bit more downforce on that car.
Felix Baer coming under attack from Jochen van Snelheid, and the Lopez driver goes through back into 8th place.
Yeah, lovely move.
The two countrymen there squabbling out, and Elroy Wagner sat behind the world champion, just waiting, trying to see if he can make up anything if they collide.
Yeah, he does look like he's sticking with him, but just can't seem to find a way past.
Yeah, as we see Adrian Seaman right on the back of Stuart Harrison, and surely it won't be long until he's making a move, but still, Olen Inman isn't pulling away.
Again, I think I'm not sure if it's a trait of Inman or this track, because we did see this last year as well, where drivers would get into the lead and then it would look like they're holding back almost. They weren't pulling that gap.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point actually. As we now come on to the start-finish straight, and are we going to see a move now? We've got Adrian Simon. He's in the slipstream. He's pulled out. He's on the inside line, but I don't know if he's got the straight line speed to be able to pass Stuart Harrison. And no, he tucks back in before the corner.
Doesn't look like it. That's got to be quite frustrating for Simon. I'm sure he feels like he's got the car to be able to win this race.
Yeah. As this, that's Lewis Ellington passing Puccio Giordano, and so that's Ellington back up into 12th place. So he's only 3 spots behind his teammate again now.
Yeah, I don't imagine it'll be too long before he gets past Ruiz either. He's just got that sort of pace. Not to mention softer tyres than the Ruiz as well.
Yeah, if I remember rightly, I think Ellington is on the super softs and Ruiz on the mediums.
Absolutely, yes.
Although
Yeah.
I think actually that's something we should probably mention. An awful lot of the cars out there today are running on the soft compound, so there isn't a huge variation in strategy.
No, I think that comes from China, when a lot of the teams that were on softer tire, the soft compound tire, tended to do a lot better, and the conditions are quite similar here in Japan.
Yeah, definitely. Is this the potential move then? We've got Adrian Simon. He's alongside Stuart Harrison, but out of the slipstream he just can't. And Stuart Harrison's actually pulling away before the corner.
You don't tend to see that too often.
That's incredible. That DS is really maxing out early on the start finish straight.
Yeah, but across the rest of the track, he is just completely on the back of his gearbox. So clearly a lot of downforce on that car, but it's really affecting his ability to pass.
Yeah, I think definitely, as you say, definitely a lot of downforce on that DS, and it looks as though he's going to have to maybe make a move somewhere where you wouldn't expect if he's going to get past Harrison.
We also see the AMI in front of Ruiz now, so Ellington must have made the move.
Yeah, so that's Lewis Ellington then up into 11th place and just 4 seconds behind his teammate now, although there is still one car between them, and that is Elroy Wagner.
Again, I don't imagine. I mean, it should be a little bit more difficult considering that Wagner's on the soft compound compared to the medium, but I think he'll make quite quick work of that.
Yeah, I just want to mention, maybe the reason that Milkovic has slipped down a bit is because he started, like Ruiz, on the medium tyres.
Yeah, it makes sense. So maybe that'll play into his favour late in the race.
Yeah, obviously they
I
are...
see. Oh, that was Simon making the pass on Harrison as well.
Ah, yeah,
So up
sorry,
into second.
I totally missed that. I was looking at my tyre charts. Yeah, Adrian Simon then through into second.
And beginning to chase down his teammate. This is going to be an interesting battle.
Yeah, especially when you think Inman was able to get past Harrison pretty easily on the straight. And Simon wasn't, well, until just then.
Yeah, so clearly their cars are set up slightly differently, but yeah, I don't think this is one that Robert's going to like too much on the pit wall.
Well, they're in first and second. I think he'd like it pretty much.
Yeah, but you know they're coming. You know they're going to be fighting hard for that win. Both want that.
Yeah, I've just noticed Enrique Ruiz has lost the spot to Puccio Giordano as well now. So Ruiz down to 13th. And that's Wagner still on the back of Felix Baer, but look how quickly Lewis Ellington is closing in.
Yeah, there does seem to be a train of cars there, so I'm just wondering who it is there that's sort of slowing them up.
I guess I'd probably say Milkovic.
Yeah, it makes sense with the tyres.
Yeah, just to run through the other alternate strategies, Milkovic and Ruiz the only ones on the mediums. Everyone on the softs, apart from, as we see, Adrian Simon already right on the back of his teammate. Everyone on softs, apart from those two on the mediums, and Ellington, Giordano, Agostino, Davenport, and Aaron Einerson, who are all on the super soft tyres.
So the first race where no one has opted for the hard.
Yeah, well, I think the hard has really been a tyre that's been a bit rubbish.
Yeah, it hasn't. I don't think any of the conditions have really played into its wheelhouse so far.
Oh, as we see the two Downtons going side by side, Marcus Thunder down the inside of Nathaniel Powers at turn one. Powers is giving him the place.
Bit of team orders there, or
Well, they're on the same tyres, so it shouldn't be.
ah.
Hmm.
Uh,
And the 2013 world champion being made to look rather sedate so far this year by Marcus Thunder.
yeah, sort of a
Worrying lady.
continuation of last year a little bit. Maybe
Yeah, as
Powers is just losing
oh
spark.
yeah, sorry, we've got Olen Inman, no, Adrian Simon alongside Olen Inman, and the two DS cars are going to go side by side in turn one, but Adrian Simon sweeps around the outside and into the lead of the Japanese V-Prix on lap 12 here in Fuji.
Yep, now is the time to see whether it's just this track or whether it's the drivers, and whether Simon can really pull out in front.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a bit of a gap opening between the two of them already, and they've both now already pulled a gap back to Stuart Harrison. So, maybe
Yeah,
it was just Inman.
maybe it's going to be interesting to keep an eye on that.
Is that Sean Matson sort of closing up a bit on Johan Halverson? Surely not. We're
Really?
going to go back to the Downton squabbling, and this time Powers down the inside of Thunder.
Oh, he just wanted to prove me wrong, didn't he?
He absolutely did. I think, to be honest, I think Powers has a lot of people to prove wrong this year. Because as you mentioned, yes, I am going to talk about my own team for a minute. But as you mentioned, Thunder last year did make Powers look a bit silly.
Yeah, their only win came from Thunder.
Yeah, and so far this season, he's been doing the same. As after 12 laps, then we see Lewis Ellington dive into the pits on his super softs. But yeah, I mean, Powers is a world champion. He shouldn't be in this position, but he has a point to prove, really.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. He needs to be putting the beating on his younger teammate, and whilst he keeps getting beaten like this, his credibility is just going to keep dropping. And yeah, that's not what you want when you're the first world champion of Formula Virtual.
No, definitely not. And as obviously we've got all of the, I think that's all of them. No, Aaron Einerson hasn't pitted, so the only car on Super Softs to stay out for an extra lap is Aaron Einerson, but then that Holmqvist is probably lacking a lot of the downforce that's wearing the tyres on those other cars, because let's be fair, it's been at the back all season.
Yeah, it's looking that way. I will just say, having seen the trainer cars that I was mentioning earlier, Milkovic wasn't at the lead of that train, so I'm wondering who was actually in front of him, unless someone overtook him.
Well, looking at the graph on, not the graph, it's not a graph, it's a list. It's a list on the side. It was James Harding that was ahead of him. Let's take a look at the timings. Yeah, James Harding has a bit of a gap, a hell of a gap in front of him for Matson, but is pretty much level with everyone else. But that's Jochen van Snelheid passing Milkovic then. So Van Snelheid has gone up into 7th place, and I suppose it kind of is Harding holding them up a bit, although there is a bit of a gap now. But there has just been an overtake, so.
Yeah, I think maybe Harding made an overtake on Milkovic, and then he's just been followed through by his teammate as well.
I suppose that is entirely possible.
Because both seem to be making a bit of a gap to Milkovic now.
Yeah, and but it'd be interesting to see here how much further the medium tyres will go compared to the softs, and also how it works out, because Inman ended up having to make a second pit stop in China with just 8 laps to go.
Yeah, so it wasn't really the best strategy, but even though temperatures may be similar, the track surface won't be the same, so things could still play out differently.
Absolutely, it's as ever with Formula Virtual this season, strategy is going to be a very interesting thing to watch during this V-Prix, as we see Elroy Wagner still sat behind Felix Bayer. in 10th place now. He's got his teammate 6 seconds behind him further down the road, and none of them seem to be anxious to make a move.
No, this is sort of ruining their strategy because they need to be ahead of Milkovic. If they've got the softer tyre, they need to be making the most of it. And whilst Milkovic is ahead, slowing them down, it's sort of ruining their race.
Yeah. I've just noticed that on the timing screen. I know a few people have pitted, but Westwood are currently 13th and 14th. That's an improvement.
Definitely, considering they were sort of about where Downton were.
Thanks.
Yeah, just thought I'd add that in.
Just drive that in a bit harder.
Yeah. So kudos to them. I mean, but they were quite strong here last year. Obviously, they won the race, so maybe they just got a fondness for the track.
Yeah, that's entirely possible. I think it's nice to see them moving back forwards. As you say, they were right at the front here last year, and in fact, Timo Kinnaman is the defending race winner. I think it's very unlikely that he's going to be able to hold on to that.
You'd think so.
But yeah, so it's nice to see them moving back towards where they were at the end of last season. But North Star as well. We came into this season, and out of the 3 new teams, first looked far and away the better. But the last couple of races, North Star have been ahead of not only their fellow new teams, but also Downton.
Yeah, well, each team has the opportunity to develop each race. I think we've seen it even with Ingram. They've started to move forward as well. So
and AMR as well.
And AMR, yeah. So things will change.
Ooh,
It's it.
Sorry to cut across, but just as we're praising Westwood there, I think that's Will Hoskins in the pits without a front wing.
Yeah, I wonder what's gone on there.
I don't know. We'll keep an eye out for a replay of that then. And where is? Yeah, Will Hoskins now down in last for some reason. Aaron Ineson still hasn't pitted. It's
Not sure.
left on those super soft tyres.
I'm not sure what to make of that. Maybe, I don't know.
The car genuinely has that little downforce.
Maybe that's
brand new.
Maybe that's why he's lacking pace as well. Maybe he's just
Yeah, that's
a
it.
smoother driver, just keeping those alive, going for the one stop.
One stop on super softs, that'd be something to see, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, they need to generate some sort of headline. So
What have we got up front? Well, they are in the running to sign Ruiz.
no, they're not. Ruiz has personally told me he would love to stay with Franklin.
Has he?
Yeah, he loves the team. We brought him in, we made him champion. There's no other team he'd rather be at.
We shall see.
Yeah.
I was just going to point out the gap between the leaders, but it's gone now from my screen. There we go. 3.5 seconds. Adrian Simon now leads his teammate by.
So it's definitely picked up the pace, and yeah, so maybe it was just Inman, just not being able to get the hammer down when the car is at its heaviest.
Yeah, but now Inman himself has around a 3.5 second gap back to Harrison. So it's odd. It's very odd.
But again, it could come to tyres. The cars built by the teams, will have different ways of using the tyres, different ways of warming them up. Maybe they were just sort of holding it back a little bit before their first stops.
Yeah, or maybe I'm just going to throw this out there. When I personally play all the racing video games they do, like the official Formula 1 games, I always find I'm quicker when I have someone to chase.
It could well be that.
I wonder if Inman is just experiencing the same thing.
Yeah, he could well be. Is that Seaman or Inman?
That's it. That's Inman diving into the pits then. So he's been slower than his teammate, and he's used his tyres more.
Yeah, you'd
Not
expect.
brilliant, but
Yeah, given that Seaman had to come through the field, you'd expect his tyres to be just that little bit more worn. So
Either that, or
things.
they're just going for the undercut with Olen.
Yeah, it's quite possible. Obviously, now that strategies are different to what we've had last year, we've got the full fuel tanks till the end of the race. A new set of tyres can give you that extra bit of grip to close the gap.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting to watch. He's come back out. Well, he's totally missed the white line. Okay, fair enough. Apparently, it's not a thing. He's actually come back out in 11th place, just ahead of Jean Matson, who has also made his first stop on the soft tyres, and the pair of them are just ahead of Lewis Ellington on the super softs. As in, that's not Will Hoskins again, is it? I think it is.
I think it's Kinnaman, because he was moving down the order.
That's a very good point. It just looked like Hoskins'
Yeah.
helm. But, I think you're probably right. I think that is Kinnaman into the pits. And is that,
It's like Simon into the
I was going to
pits.
say, was that Simon? I didn't quite see that as I was looking at the graph at the site. It is Adrian Simon and both the Meteors into the pits now as well then. So, the interesting thing will be, where will Olen Inman slot in amongst this? It's,
Is that him at the back of the screen now?
well, there's a Franklin coming. That's Ruiz. So no, I think he's well behind. Oh no, that's him. That's Inman, and so Simon has got out in front, but Inman has closed the gap considerably in the pit stops then.
Yeah, so looks about 2 seconds was the gap that he was able to close down on, maybe even 3. So that's great strategy from Inman there.
Yeah, so Adrian Simon back out in, I think that was 6th place. But obviously the net lead of this race, as Carl Beckenbauer also leaves the pits for a slot. I have to say, the more I see that car, the more I like it.
Yeah, personal opinion. I mean, it's not a bad looking car.
Although I'm sure it doesn't do you any favours.
Yeah. But just going back to the leaders as well. Obviously, Inman pitted on lap 18, Seaman on lap 19. So, given that, yeah, if you keep that sort of thing going, then that might lead to a 3-stop for.
Oh, I think it's going to be a fairly obvious 3-stop here for these. Oh, there's a collision in the pit lane between the 2 Lopez cars.
What are they doing?
Well, your cars have collided in the pit lane before.
No, that never happened.
That was James Harding then trying to turn into his pit box, and Jochen van Snelheid behind, just getting it, well, rather wrong, just bumping the back of his teammate. I don't think there's been any damage done, but yeah, well, that was odd.
Yeah.
As we see Carl Beckenbauer blast past Romano Agostino then, so that's Beckenbauer on the soft tyres compared to Agostino on the super softs. But in the lead of this race, we now have Nikolai Milkovic.
Yeah, so clearly those mediums have worked in his favour. It just depends on how long he can go now.
And likewise for Ruiz, who is in 4th. And Aaron Einerson still hasn't pitted. There he is. So he's just in now.
How has he made it go longer than the softs?
I don't know. That's incredible.
What?
As Adrian Simon sets another fastest lap as he attempts to now just... Oh, he has extended the gap out to Inman. It's now 2.5 seconds. We need a good look at that. I'm not sure he is on super softs.
Yeah, we're going to have to keep an eye on the car.
Lied to.
Yeah. But yeah, if we go back to Inman and Simon for a second, obviously if Inman does keep sort of undercutting Simon, obviously it's 1 lap for the first stop. It could be 2 or 3 for the second and third stop. So as long as he can keep with Simon, he may just be able to have a larger undercut when it comes to the next stops of the, and then sort of just defend the position from there.
Yeah, that's certainly very possible, although he needs to be careful that he doesn't chew up his tyres too quickly, that he ends up forcing himself into a fourth stop. I mean, it's...
Of course.
With the
Yeah.
having pitted on lap 18, it's very unlikely that we'll see that, but nonetheless, it is a possibility.
Definitely. You'd expect the team and himself to be working hard enough to know, as Simon now passes Milkovic.
Yeah, so that's Adrian Simon then through. He's not going to wait for Milkovic to pit, he's just going to take the lead anyway. And so Simon goes through, then Milkovic slips back into second on the medium tyres, but he is yet to make his pit stop. But what that means is Adrian Simon already has a pit stop in hand over the Russian then. So
Yeah, I don't imagine he would have fought too hard for that. I'm sure both himself and the team know they're not necessarily in contention for the win of the race, but as long as they just stick to their own race, then they can at least pick up a decent haul of points.
definitely. However, this could certainly help Milkovic. This is Enrique Ruiz in front of, I believe, Stuart Harrison. And if Ruiz can keep those two meteors behind, then Ingram on the mediums is going to start looking very good for a potential podium.
Absolutely. Yeah, we haven't been too good in terms of keeping cars behind so far this season, but if we can help our technical partners, then I'm sure we'll do our best to do so.
Likewise, we in the commentary box haven't been too good at making predictions, so that could be totally wrong.
Yeah.
But we shall see as we come on to the start-finish straight now. And this is Harrison on Ruiz, and he looks as though he's going to get a run. And as you mentioned, Stuart Harrison is just going to breeze by the Franklin and into fourth place.
Yeah, not too difficult. But again, I think Ruiz is just going to run his own race. He doesn't need to be fighting cars that he's clearly not in the race with.
No, definitely not. So what gaps have we got now? We've got Olen Inman closing right up onto the back of Nikolai Milkovic, although that 3 seconds that he gained to his teammate, he has already lost. But there we see it on screen then, right up behind Milkovic, although there is a Westwood getting in the way. Nope, he moves out of the way of Milkovic, and yeah, there we go, now pulls to the side for Inman, who very nearly clouts the back of Milkovic here.
Yeah, he got quite close there, so just needs to be a little bit careful. We don't need a repeat of China.
No, definitely don't. There were a lot of incidents in China.
Yeah, and I'm sure the team would have been onto the drivers just to say, look, we've got a great car here. Let's calm things down, and we can win this thing.
Yeah, surely Inman is going to have him. Oh, we've cut away, but no, there we go. Yeah, Inman just breezes past Milkovic on the straight, and he's through even before the line.
Yeah, so fairly similar to Harrison on Ruiz.
So, DS Mathershaw then are back into a 1-2 position as Milkovic slips back to third as... Ooh, that didn't look very...
Just getting a little bit out wide there on the curb and just a bit of a bumpy ride there.
Yeah, that North Star looked like it was bunny hopping.
Maybe it's a new way of of doing things that we're not aware of yet.
As into the pits then come the super soft runners once more. That is Lewis Ellington, Puccio Giordano, and I believe both of the fun cars. But Inman is already 5 seconds behind his teammate.
Yeah, Seaman definitely seems to have the beating of him here.
Yeah.
And it's if we look at Ellington as well, he's now back into 13th after making 2 stops. So Supersoft doesn't really look to be the way to go. This, similar to China.
But he is only 3 spots behind Bayer, albeit 23 seconds, which is about a pit stop.
Yeah, but if it's the same sort of margin as China, he could have to make 1 or 2 stops. Was that a first?
Yeah, that's a first.
Yeah.
Very wide and nearly wiping out Elroy Wagner as he comes back onto the track.
Yeah, that's not great driving there. So just needs to just watch that a little bit. There's safety. Safety is here for a reason. Let's not be taking each other out.
And I think that was Douglas Bacon, and in fact, actually letting those the leaders by, he's just lost himself the place to his teammate, and both of them are now, coming under threat from Aaron Einerson behind. He's there. I don't
Yeah,
really
well,
expect anything, but he's there.
he's making his super softs last longer than softs, so
I'm still waiting to see a glimpse of that car. They cannot be super softs that he's on.
surely not. Otherwise, maybe Holmqvist have just learned something about these tyres that no one else has yet.
Yeah, I think they'll have a lot of people knocking on their door if
Absolutely.
that's the case. Have we got anything? Have we got any close battles out there? We've got a Westwood on a North Star. Who's this? There's Judson. Yeah, Timo Kinnaman on Judson Sykes, I believe, and he moves up into 17th place. Although you'd hope so.
Yeah. Is it just me, or does the number on the front of that North Star look like a number 1?
Maybe that was the plan.
Yeah. I can't even tell what number it is.
It's a 9.
It's a 9, okay.
Number 9 for Judson Sykes. But yeah, I have to say, looking from the front, both the 9 on Sykes' car and, as one of the Meteors got crossed up there trying to lap him, and there was a slight collision further back between the Lopez and AMR into turn 1. But yeah, the 9 and the 10 on the noses of the North Star do look rather similar, so can't really tell which one's which most of the time, but...
Still, aside from that, hell of a livery there. Or livery, sorry.
Oh yeah, definitely. Easily one
Very.
of the better looking cars on the grid this year.
Yeah, I think
Just stunning.
as the seasons have gone on, the liveries have become a lot more professional looking, and it's really great to see.
Definitely. Nope, my train of
Nope.
thought's gone. Vanished out the window.
Let's move on to the next station then.
That's Halverson past Harrison. That's Johan Halverson, the championship leader, moving past his teammate, and that then is for, well, currently 4th place, but that's for net 3rd then.
Well, that's quite unexpected. Halverson hasn't really been anywhere, or relatively speaking to Harrison this race, so I wonder what's happened there.
Yeah, that's do you know, we've been watching that for about a lap. I hadn't even noticed they'd got close to one another.
No, not at all. In
Terrible.
fact, I think that's Wagner having just passed a Lopez as well.
Surely not. Surely that's Wagner coming under pressure
Yeah.
from a Lopez.
I saw him going round. I don't know what happened. I'm hoping that was the case.
There must have been an issue. As we cut back to the two Downtons, just briefly, who are still seemingly glued together on track, but it's powers ahead at the moment.
At least you know your drivers are getting the most out of the car. That's
Yeah, I suppose
that's
something.
both. Yeah, it's both good and depressing at the same time.
Yeah, it's good that they're both absolutely flat out. It's bad that the best out of the car is 20th.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, you know, it's France next, and all of the teams will be bringing big European developments. I'm sure we'll see a change in the pecking order, and I'm rather hopeful that we'll move forward. At least a little bit.
You know, just be in front of the new teams at least would be somewhat of a yeah.
Well, obviously they haven't had the previous season to build up their development. So as sad as it is, I think we will see the new teams slip quite far to the back.
Yeah, but obviously we've seen it in the past. You know, AMR have been towards the back. Now look where they are. You know, Warrior who are now
well.
Exactly. So it's not like they will stay there. You know, the system in Formula Virtua is quite different compared to other racing series, and teams do have the opportunity to move up if they've got the right plan in place.
Definitely, as we've got the two Meteors both on the back of Nikolai Milkovic, who is still going as we head on to lap 30 here. And if Milkovic can just eke this out for a few more laps, he could potentially make this a one-stop.
Which is going to save him at least sort of 40-50 seconds on the soft compound runners, who are going to have to make 3 stops at least.
Yeah, so...
Unless you're Einerson.
Yeah, who's just going to run to the end now. That's it. He's done with the pits.
Yeah.
Maybe he's scared of them. He's
Maybe.
scared of making. Maybe he's scared of his team.
I would be if I wasn't performing as well as I should be.
He's bless him. He's stepped up this year along with a couple of them from FV2, but he has struggled a bit, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to tell because it is a big step up from the junior series, and it's not like the Holmqvist is going to be a car that's easy to drive.
No.
You wouldn't have thought, compared to say Inman, who's in arguably the fastest car on the grid. So it's difficult to see exactly where they are or what they'd be doing if they were in a better car.
Yeah, that's very true. And obviously, he is against the Kiara Thunder, who was the FV2 champion from last year. And I suppose maybe we're being a bit harsh on him. At times, he has matched her.
Exactly, and different drivers will take different lengths of time to get to grips with things. So I think you've got to give him a full season just to see exactly where he is.
Well, let's hope Holmqvist do give him a full season, as we have got into the pits. Oh, that's Ruiz and Milkovic.
So it's not looking like it could be a one-stop, unfortunately.
No, so that is on lap. Well, that's the end of lap 30 here in Fuji then. So no, that looks like they're just going to slip over into a two-stop for the medium runners, and that's not really what they'd have wanted.
No, it's a shame we don't have Einarson in that car. It really is.
Instead of mediums, he'd run to the end. That's it. He wouldn't need to pit.
Could have won the race. That's the last time I make that joke now.
Maybe you should try it.
Maybe. I don't imagine that Einarson is going to be able to match Ruiz. Not yet, anyway. If he did, great. But yeah, it'd make you wonder what Thunder would be able to do.
Which one?
Well, Kiara, because she's the only one who can measure up to Einarson at the moment.
Well, yeah, I suppose. Yeah. What have we got? The two Meteors still glued together on track, but it's Halverson ahead now. Although he's not dropped his teammate, but they are 17.5 seconds now off the race leader. But then Inman himself is 8 seconds behind his teammate in second place, as we see almost just some lapping going on.
Yeah, just getting past the first there. But as the Ocelot, I want to say, is just going past Ruiz as well.
Yeah, I think that is Carl Beckenbauer actually challenging Enrique Ruiz for 11th place around the outside of turn 1, but nope.
Just a little bit too much grip on that car to be able to go around the outside. They may be lacking the straight line speed, but they've got the grip in the corners. It looks like.
Yeah, and I just noticed Elroy Wagner is ahead of both the Lopez cars. Oh, he did that earlier, didn't he?
Yes, I told you that happened. You didn't believe me.
Well, let's be fair, Lopez have picked up a podium and Franklin have struggled to get points, so it is a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you compare this race with China, Lopez were to the forefront and Meteor were sort of lacking, and now it's sort of swapped again. So those two teams just not. In the first couple of races, they looked like they were the best set to challenge DS Mothershaw, but now they're sort of swapping as to who gets to challenge them.
Yeah, and well, touch wood for DS Mothershaw. They're just up front and easing away and laughing at everyone behind.
We all know that won't necessarily last. Just look at last season. Reliability can still be a concern.
Yeah, that's very true. Although Wagner isn't far, and we've gone back to the Downton cars. This cameraman has it in for me, I'm sure.
Maybe you're paying them so that you get some sponsor exposure.
Really not. This isn't what it is. If they were up front, fine, I would, but no. Although Thunder's back ahead now, I've just noticed. Who knows? Have we got any close battle. I did notice Wagner wasn't too far ahead of the two Lopez's.
No. So it's. I mean, it surprises me that he's ahead, considering they are on the same tyre. It's
Yeah,
not like he's on super softs compared to their mediums or whatever.
Yeah, what did we have in China? Lopez picked up a podium and a 4th place, and Franklin scored 4 points.
Ninth, I think. Yeah.
Hmm.
Only one scored, and it wasn't Wagner.
No. Did Wagner retire?
No, that was the race before. I think he came like 11th or 12th on the hards.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Just on a strategy that slightly backfired.
Exactly, yeah.
As we see... Oh, that's
Ooh.
an AMR. Just with a slight collision with Nathaniel Powers. I think that's... Is that Felix Bayer lapping him?
Yeah, so you'd expect
Impressive
Powers to know the consequences of sort of getting out of the way. So, that's yeah.
Well, he's not
That's
used to it, is he? To be fair.
Depends.
Well, I suppose he did drive the 2013 Downton at Mexico. So.
Yeah.
He's had one racing experience. Anyway, this is.
Yeah.
I think we've jumped on board with Stuart Harrison, still just behind his teammate. I'm gonna say this now. Compared to the first 3 races, compared to the first 3 races we've had, this has been crap.
Yeah, and it's not quite live up to the hype, but it's not exactly going to set the world on fire each time.
No.
I think to expect that is a little bit insane.
And, to have 3 amazing races to start the season, we've been
exactly, and we're likely to get a great race in France with the mixed up grid. So
and hopefully a bigger variation in tyre strategy as well.
Absolutely, I think that's the thing that's sort of made this one slightly less entertaining, is that most people seem to be on the same strategy.
Yeah, as Adrian Simon extends his gap to his teammate then to 10 seconds, it's a further 10 seconds back to the 2 Meteors. So Jean Matson solidly in 5th. That's impressive.
Yeah, I mean, he did another great job in China as well. So now that he's on a better strategy, it seems to be paying off.
Wow, that's the 2 Lopez cars as close can be. And Jochen van Snelhout, surely you're going to think he's got to make a move here down into turn 1, but he doesn't even pull out. He just sits behind his teammate.
I'm starting to wonder if they're holding each other up, because Wagner has actually pulled away.
He has, hasn't he? Wagner's vanished.
Yeah. What? Has he found a new setting in that car that we don't know about?
I think there'll be a lot of data analysis going on at Franklin after this race.
Turned up the engine or something, I don't know.
Although I think we did just see Ruiz getting passed by an AMR. As into the pits, once again, comes Olen Inman then for his 2nd stop. So he is going to go for the undercut again, although he's 10 seconds behind, so I don't think it's going to work. But
Depends how long Simon's going to go. You'd expect him to just cover Inman off, but we've seen stranger things.
Yeah, although Inman has managed. Oh no, we're on lap 37, so no, 18 laps again on this stint.
Yeah.
Is he going to come out ahead of Wagner? That will be interesting, because the fresh air, not fresh air, clean air would do him wonders. That's going to be tight. No, it's not. Fair enough.
just managed to get ahead, so that great call there, because I imagine even if he'd have stayed out, he'd have got ahead anyway. But to be able to get him out in that clean air is a brilliant move from the team.
Yeah, definitely. And where's so that's Inman slotting back into 4th place then, and where's Matson going to come out? He's going to come out just behind his teammate. So you'd imagine that'll be one easy place gain straight away.
Yeah.
Who's this into the pits? That's Felix Bayer. And in comes race leader then, Adrian Simon. So, will the 2 Meteors follow him in once again, or will they last through to take the lead of this race? I think they're
Looks
in.
like one of them in, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's the other one just coming in the pit lane in the background then.
Yep. So, yeah, Simon covering off Eamon there.
Not. Harrison has stayed out and he's gone through to take the lead then.
Interesting strategy.
Yeah. So maybe Harrison just trying to
Just eke them out.
no idea what he's trying to do, to be honest.
He could just be eking them out just so that he has a shorter stint towards the end of the race and can really push on newer tyres. That's my best guess anyway.
Yeah, so Johan Halvorsen has actually... maybe that was Harrison's plan, because Halvorsen has come out just behind the two Lopez cars of Harding and Van Snelheid. So he could be held up a bit there.
Yeah, which if that's the case, great call from him to ignore the pit and then just try and extend that a little bit.
Although now that I say that, there are the two Lopez's and Halvorsen is actually not that close. So, maybe not. I've also just noticed the Super Soft runners have just made their third stops.
Einarsson's still only on one.
I think it's fairly safe to assume now he's probably not on the Super Soft tyres.
Yeah. I really want a glimpse of that car just to see what's going on.
Oh, definitely. As there we go, now into the pits comes Stuart Harrison then. So he hands the lead back to Adrian Simon. Olen Inman will go through into second.
And Wagner into third.
Good lord. Elroy Wagner's in a podium position. He won't stay there, but he's in a podium position.
Wow. I'm just happy that he's back there for this short amount of time.
You watch, he'll have a collision with a back marker now.
Obviously, yeah.
Well, if that's who's that exiting?
That's Ruiz behind. Yeah.
Just in front of Ruiz, who is just about to lap him.
I imagine this is Wagner about to come into the pits as well.
Yeah, and I should imagine that probably the two Lopez cars will follow in behind him. They've been pretty stuck together in this race, haven't they?
Yeah. The Meteors and the Downton just seem to be line astern.
Yeah, as out of the pits comes Felix Bayer following his second stop, as Adrian Simon sets the fastest lap. And where Bayer fed back out after his second stop, he's back out in 13th. So currently though, both AMRs outside of the points.
That's a little bit baffling, considering their pace at the beginning of the race. I mean, you can kind of expect it from Ellington, given that he's on the super softs, but
Yeah, as into the pits come Wagner, Harding, and Van Snelheid. The two Lopez managed to avoid hitting one another this time.
Sorry, just a few technical glitches there.
As you will probably be aware, I'm in Fuji, but Jamie is on home. We have him on Skype here because he has just become a father.
Yeah. So I want to say thanks to everyone who has obviously wished me well. Really appreciate that. And yeah, it's crazy.
And at just one day old, Logan has already made his debut.
Yep. He will shortly be. I don't want to say taking over the reins because it's not quite there yet. Maybe I'll pop in one of the cars at some point, see what he can do.
Well, you can't be doing any worse than your drivers are at the moment. Although, oh no, he was third. They are struggling a bit.
It's the car. It's cleaning up the drivers. You saw what they could do last year.
Yeah, I suppose.
Let's just say he'd be better in the young driver program than most of my young drivers are.
Who is there in the Franklin Young Driver program?
There was Einarsson. Um, they're De La Fuente as well, and Leo Brzezinski.
Ah, yes, of course. And that all kicks off next week.
Does so.
As we head to France.
Forward to see how he can do in the car, because I expect great things from him.
I think that was a first, just unlapping themselves from a meteor. That's incredible.
Something strange is happening here in Japan.
Inman's cut the gap down to 7.5 seconds. That's not bad.
It does. Does anyone have a problem?
I mean, obviously, he did pit a lap earlier, didn't he?
So you'd expect the gap to come down a little bit, but it tends to be that then Seaman opens it back up.
Iverson is on the soft tyres.
Nevertheless, he still eked them out longer than most. But then he could be a couple of laps down, so yeah.
Is he? He's done 2 stops. Ooh, so he's just gonna fall short of being able to get him to the end, really, isn't he?
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. That could have really worked out well for him, but oh well.
Doesn't affect us, so let's move on.
No, and the gap between the race leaders is back up to 10 seconds. So, oh well. Any hope we had of a battle there is just vanished.
Dwindled away, and we've got Wagner desperately trying to get past Ruiz. You'd expect some team orders to be going on here.
Yeah, you would, but obviously, I don't know who you've left in charge, but apparently they haven't received that command.
Yeah, not yet. I imagine Wagner's going to make his way past onto the start-finish straight.
I have to say, I prefer the numbers on those cars this year to last one, to 2015. You can clearly see.
Yeah, absolutely. Not sure what I was going with in last year, but I tried to make everything sort of as easily visible as possible in terms of identifying the drivers this year.
I have to say, I did love the idea last year though, of the number 1 in gold and the number 2 in silver. As we see Wagner blast past his teammate into 10th place. No, they're higher than that.
They're either 9th and 10th, or 8th and 9th, or 7th and 8th.
I think they're 7th and 8th. We'll go with 7th and 8th.
I'm more happy with that.
Let's just take let's lap 43. I don't think we've done it this season. Let's take a rundown of the order. We've got Adrian Simon leading on the soft tyres. He's made 2 pit stops, 10 seconds ahead of Olen Inman on the same. Third, Johan Halvorsen, 23.5 seconds off the lead. Now has a bit of a gap back to his teammate Stuart Harrison in 4th. And then it's John Matson in 5th, also on the soft tyres and having made two pit stops. And then Nikolai Milkovic is 6th, the first on a differing strategy, the mediums. He's only made 1 stop. Wagner on the softs is 7th, nearly 50 seconds off the lead, with teammate Ruiz on the mediums right behind. Jochen van Snelheid and James Harding for Lopez on the soft tyres round out the top 10.
So a bit of a Noah's Ark grid from 1st to 10th.
Yeah, in fact, Fun and not Fun, Ocelot and AMR are the only. Yeah, they are. Well, Hutchinson and Baker. Yeah, so AMR and Ocelot are the only team that have their drivers not running one behind the other on the track.
I think this just shows that this could be a good track for working out car performance.
Yeah, definitely.
You wouldn't.
Barcelona. Let's come to Fuji.
Yeah, it's quite. I mean, you wouldn't have thought last race or even at the beginning of the season that obviously we expected DS Mathershore to be at the top and maybe Lopez and Meteor second, but to see Ingram in clearly with the third quickest car, Franklin 4th, and Lopez in 5th this race, you wouldn't really have thought that, especially after China.
Yeah, no, definitely not. And obviously, as you say, I think we're going to see some big moves come France. Obviously, Franklin with probably one of the bigger budgets out there. You'd expect to see them moving towards the front. I don't know if they'll be at the front. I mean, DS have quite a gap, but you'd expect them to see them move closer. I think.
Yeah, I mean, the aim is obviously to take the fight to DS Mathershore. They are the team looking to fight hardest for the championship this year.
My aim is to
And we,
not finish last.
yeah, yeah. Well, you know, you don't have Einerson, so.
Been there.
But obviously, we want to be taking the fight to them. We want to be defending our championship. This isn't how we expected our fourth title defense to go. So even though we knew it would be tricky, we thought we'd be a little bit further up. So we need to be really pushing forward, and France is our first opportunity to do that.
Yeah, I for one am really excited about France. Fingers crossed
Definitely.
it happens. Oh no, AMR Bayer has passed Beckenbauer, and so everyone is now running with their teammates on track. How wonderful! There's
Fantastic.
something so oddly satisfying about that.
That's just.
I don't
Yeah,
think
let's
we've seen
just drink it in. I don't think we have. I think this is the first time we've seen this. And considering obviously the different tyre strategies, I know this race tends to be more or less everyone on soft, but considering we've got some people on different strategies, that's quite nice.
Have we got any close battles though? The two Lopez's are tied together with a piece of string no longer than the 30cm ruler, but it seems to have been the case all race. Is that Olen Inman being forced out wide by one of the North Stars as he tries to lap him?
Again, not.
Oh no, that's Simon. Sorry.
Yeah, not the greatest of fat marker driving, but as we mentioned last race, it's just sort of expected now, isn't it?
Yeah, although I think from what we've seen so far, it's been a marked improvement in this one.
Absolutely, I think, yeah. Well, obviously, given the fact that there are so many new teams this season compared to any other season, it was going to be more difficult. But yeah, kudos to them for this performance.
Yeah, so we've got 20 laps to run here in Japan. 9.5 seconds now the gap between Simon and Inman. It's come down a bit, but then Simon was just forced nearly off the track, so I suppose that attributes half a second.
Yeah. We need to find some things to talk about.
Yeah. This is worrying. I think this is the first time I've genuinely struggled.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose if you look at the softs compared to the mediums on the Ingram and the Franklin, the time difference so far is only between 5 to 10 seconds in favour of the soft. So it's not a huge amount difference. So I think going forward, if you know, the medium could well be the tyre to be on in future races, even if it's similar conditions. Because I think as long as the environment sort of plays to your favour, I think that could well be the better strategy.
Yeah, actually, something has just come to mind. We had a couple of driver announcements between China and here for next season. We had Harding confirmed to be remaining at Lopez, and Beckenbauer was announced as to be remaining with Ocelot for next season.
I mean, both are sort of to be expected. Beckenbauer's still a great addition to Ocelot, and James Harding's done quite well for Lopez this year. So it's not too surprising to see them stay with their teams.
No, definitely, and that actually leads me on nicely to the announcement that came yesterday after qualifying from the Downton team, where they sent out the press release to confirm that they would no longer be supplying Ocelot with engines from 2017 onwards. And in fact, they were looking at severely reducing their supply. They hadn't actually confirmed they would be supplying anyone other than themselves so far in 2017.
Given that we've got you here, and any comments on that? Any further comments? Any particular reason why? Or
we've looked at it this season. You know, we're supplying ourselves and a further three teams this year, although the partnership we have with DS Mathshore is a lot more technical than with Lopez and Ocelot, where we are just really an engine supplier. I think we've looked at things and possibly attributed that to our severe lack of performance. We feel maybe we've spread ourselves a bit too thin.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's the same reason why we didn't want to have any, teams in younger in junior series, because we want our main focus to be on Formula Virtual. So I can definitely understand where you're coming from there.
Yeah. So we still have a partnership with DS. We actually have a contract with them to supply engines until the end of 2021. Although we do need to sort out the finer details of that one. But at the moment, we will not be supplying Ocelot next year, and the deal with Lopez needs renegotiating. But that was all in the press release yesterday, so
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see whether Ocelot will find their own supplier, whether they will talk to other teams on the grid, and who that may be.
But I mean, obviously, as our engine guru mentioned in the press release yesterday, Ocelot have expressed interest in moving to a Japanese engine supplier. So, it's clear they're not fully committed.
Yeah, I think any partnership has to work two ways, and to further develop, you need both parties to be contributing. So, just a generic engine supply relationship, I don't think it's always going to benefit any party, to be honest. You need it to be able to get on the grid, but to really push forward and push the envelope and get to the front of the grid, you need great partnerships with your engine supplier. You just need to build that team to really be passionate about what they're doing.
Definitely, it needs to be more a partnership as we have with DS than as you say, just supply.
Absolutely, and clearly it's worked in favour of DS Mathshore this season. Not that I'm saying the engine is the only factor.
Oh no, I think that's clear to see that the aero on that car is absolutely on point.
Yeah.
We have a mix-up. We have Carl Beckenbauer's got himself in between the AMRs. I think probably Ellington is pitted.
Most likely, yeah.
That ruins our nice.
Yeah.
Is that
I think
we're on his own?
It looks like he has dropped Van Snowhide.
Yeah.
Starting to catch Ruiz.
Now that's interesting. As behind him the two Westwards go side by side, and I think that's Will Hoskins looking to the inside of Kingman, but not quite being able to make the move down to turn one as Adrian Seymour starts lap 52.
No, reminiscent of last year again. Westwards fighting.
Yeah.
Slight different positions there.
Just a tad further back.
Yeah. I'm sure they'll be enjoying the scrap nonetheless.
I wouldn't be. Came last year and I was fighting for the win. Now they're 16th? No, I'd be well disappointed with that.
Obviously, but you've got to be looking for the positives. If you can at least have an enjoyable race, then the result might not sting so much.
Yeah, we have a yellow flag, a prolonged yellow flag in the final sector. I wonder if we've got someone off the road.
Everyone on the pit will be, a little bit anxious at this point.
Everyone on the pit wall will have just woken up.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, it's gone now. Let's see if we've got any. Judson Sykes is out. That's a shame for North Star as Romano Agostino launches down the inside of Will Hoskins at turn 1 on the super soft tyres and moves up into 14.
Yeah, and continues to mess up the Noah's Ark grid.
Yeah, and this is on board with Sykes. And
Seems to be a lost power.
Yeah, I think that sounds like an engine failure.
Yeah.
That's a shame. You would,
Yeah.
yeah,
Maybe
that's definitely an engine failure.
maybe could have done a better job at parking it rather than.
Well, he's Russian. I
Okay.
don't know what I'm trying to say there. It's just the first thing
Yeah.
that came to mind.
Wow. Okay.
Please don't kill me, Vladimir.
I doubt. Even if he's watching, he'll be asleep right now.
What have we got? I just noticed the gap was now 16 seconds between the two DS cars.
Yeah, not too surprising. Simon's just been the quicker guy. I think he's just eking it out, just ensuring that if anything were to go wrong, he's just got a little bit of a gap to a little bit of a cushion.
Yeah. Well, that's Agostino going past the other westward of Olen. So Agostino on a bit of a charge at the moment.
Yeah, utilising those super softs. Obviously, he's going to have to make the most of it because we don't know if he's going to have to stop again. I haven't been counting the super soft stops.
Yeah, one more, I think. Actually, I think everyone is still
Yeah,
with one more to go.
and that's got to be coming around pretty quick.
No, they shouldn't be. No, everyone should have
Would-
one more stop to make.
So we could have have somewhat of an exciting end, but probably not.
Yeah, what we could do with is a safety car, but unfortunately, we don't have a safety car in this series.
Maybe a little bit of rain or just.
That would be good, but unfortunately the sky is bluer than blue. It's bluer than that first. And that's quite blue.
I didn't know that was a possibility.
It's a bit purple, actually. To me, anyway. Just not a lot, just a tinge.
I know what you. I'm colourblind, so I know what you mean.
Oh, we have a pit stop. Olen Inman is into the pits.
Something to talk about.
God, this has been painful, hasn't it?
Just a tad. Thanks for bearing with us, everyone.
Yeah, and apologies. We've probably gone hugely off topic here, but not used to races where nothing's happening.
I think
that's a good thing.
it's forward with the drama we've had in most races. So
Yeah,
I think
at least something goes on.
we were bound to get one eventually, and I think we've handled it relatively well.
Yeah,
Hopefully enough to keep people
There's no
entertained.
snoring yet, so I think that's a bonus.
And it looks like Inman has dropped to 4th, so he's definitely got second in the bag.
Yeah, you'd say so, wouldn't you? Nikolai Milkovic is back up to 5th. When did
He
that
will be. Obviously, we've had some stops, so maybe.
Yeah. Wagner's made his second. No, that must have happened a while ago. He's on the softs, isn't he? So we're after third pit stops now. So that was Matson. So yeah, Inman and Matson who came in first of all. And is that's Simon. So that's Adrian Simon from the lead.
Yeah, I reckon he's likely to come out in the lead.
Well, you had a 30+ second gap, so he should do.
You'd expect so.
I wonder if they're now going to trade fastest lap times.
They need to just to just to keep people going.
The last one we saw was lap 40 from Adrian Simon, so yeah, and he has come back out in the lead, although not with as big a gap as I'd have expected.
No, but he will be on much newer tyres, so I'm sure that gap will extend quite quickly as we've got Wagner coming up to Milkovic.
Yes.
Both having to pit again, so this is actually for position.
Yeah, although Wagner obviously on the softer rubber, so he should make that fairly comfortably, and he does. The world champion through into what looks like it could be a potential 5th place for Franklin.
And after the last race, I will welcome that with open arms.
Although he is absolutely nowhere near the top
No, but swings and roundabouts. You got to take what you can get, and we will be more than happy to just get some points on the table.
Absolutely, I'd take 5th place.
You'd take 10th.
This is true. I'd take 12th.
Oh, yeah. As long as you can get a high position to enable you to be in front of the new teams.
Exactly. But as Adrian Simon ticks on to lap 57 then, and we have 11 laps to go in this V-Prix as the 2 Meteors dive into the pits. Promote Olen Inman back into 2nd place.
We've also had Harding pass Rees at some point as well. I don't remember that happening.
Oh, yeah.
So obviously,
he's behind them earlier.
Maybe, but they were obviously the Franklins were together, and now we've got Wagner into 3rd again. Yes.
Now what you could do with is a red flag.
Yeah. I think the conditions are really dangerous now.
It's far too dry.
It's far too dry and grippy out there. We're at risk of drivers falling asleep. But yeah, obviously Rees was behind Wagner, so obviously on those medium tyres, he's still going to have to make another stop. But it looks like those Lopez have just got the run on him now.
I suppose he's got a second, but Wagner isn't pulled away from Milkovic at the sort of pace that we'd expect. Although I think, as we pointed out earlier, that Ingram may be a bit quicker than the Franklin. Look, a fastest lap.
Yes.
Adrian Simon then has woken himself back up with 10 laps to go in this V-Prix. Actually, what has happened to Matson? He's down in 9th. He's behind both the Franklins on the same strategy as Elroy Wagner.
Yeah, that's you'd expect the softer tyre to. Has he pitted?
He might have done. He might have made his 3rd stop while Wagner hasn't actually. As Milkovic and Wagner go either side of Marcus Thunder's Downton.
I think remember Rees.
That's the one, because Wagner's in the pits.
He is.
So technically now Wagner should come out actually behind John Matson now. We've got Simon leading. Inman is 15 seconds back. Milkovic is back up into 3rd, although he's gonna have to make a late pit stop for a fresh set of mediums. Harrison, Harding in 6th, Ruiz 7th, and Matson is in 8th. So yeah.
Yep. So, but obviously we've still got, I think, both Lopez to pit, Ruiz to pit, and I think that's just the top 10 you have to pit, including Milkovic as well.
Yeah, if Ruiz isn't careful here, he could find himself just outside the points.
Yep, it could happen.
Be interesting to see how if Ellington needs to pit again on the Super Softs, running in 11th place.
Yeah, we were looking at about 5 stops for the Super Softs in China, so it's likely to be the same again here. But I don't know how many stops we've made so far.
No, we need that graphic to pop up at the side, please, director, if you're listening.
Yeah.
Apparently not. As the 2 Lopez, they make their. They've done everything together in this race, haven't they?
Clearly, they are the bestest of friends.
Did I just see? Oh! Someone listened. There we go. So
they've made 4 stops so.
Yeah, so only 4. So they looks like they will have to make one more. When did they pit them at lap 13 around, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh god, I'm going to do maths now. 13, 26, 39.
So 65-ish?
39 plus 13 isn't 65. 62, so... they will have to make one more.
I don't know.
Doing maths on Well,
I'm too tired.
in
I've
my
had
eyes,
like
it's bad. It's a bad idea.
I've had like 2 hours sleep.
I think that's forgivable.
Yeah.
Oh, Noah Sinky is in the pits and drops behind. Oh, he drops behind Thunder. That means we have a car ahead of all of the new teams.
For how much longer?
And we've got a yellow flag in the final sector, and it's been there for a while. So, I wonder if we've got another retirement.
Please not Wagner. So let me have this one. As we've got a pit stop as well.
Yeah, although we can't see anything at the moment. That's a first.
Yeah, it looked blue, so.
Yeah, surely that's a first. And this is Stuart Harrison then behind Nikolai Milkovic. So Milkovic still has to stop, but even if he didn't, he's still already lost the podium place to Johan Halvorsen, who went through a while ago apparently.
Yeah, he's likely to come out in about 7th or so.
Yeah, as that's Ruiz.
So.
I don't want to depress you, but I can't see Wagner. Then we're at 13th. Oh!
And there
he is! And that's a collision in the pit lane, and that's a Downton, and both Franklins caught up in that, and that is a disaster for that. And there's the other Downton.
No!
Seeing them together on track, I didn't quite expect it to be so soon.
Crying out loud.
Oh god, that's a total mess.
Ruiz is desperately trying to push everyone through.
Well, we wanted something to happen in this race, and now it has. And
that wasn't an order to the team.
no, it wasn't an order to our team either. That's terrible.
And
it's even upset Logan. Look, I mean, come on. And there's the whole fist of Aaron Einarson has got tangled in that as well. Oh, this is terrible. And they've blocked the pit lane.
Yeah, brilliant. So all the super soft runners who are going to have to come in now are pretty much screwed. As we see, both drivers still try and push them through.
And they've got the power of Einarson there as well. Wagner's fallen off the top. Oh god, what happened there?
I had, even after the first pit stop we saw, it looked like people were coming in a little bit too quick. So, from what I saw, as everyone is now fine.
Oh no, Wagner's still merging with the wall. Oh.
My guess would be that the Downton came in a little bit too quick, spun it, and then. You were fairly. Yeah, I don't know. Let's wait for a replay and. Oh, that's so depressing.
As Wagner, he's in the pit lane, although he is now absolutely nowhere. Very slowly crawling down the pit lane, although I should imagine there is probably
some sort of
damage to that Franklin. In fact, most of the cars that were involved in that.
And, news from the Franklin team is that they're already packing up for France as well.
What is Wagner doing?
Clearly has some suspension damage on that car. He cannot turn right.
This is madness. Milkovic is pitted, and he's in 6th, so that's all right. Harding. Matson's 5th. Ellington is 7th. Ellington hasn't pitted yet, has he?
Don't think so.
So, well, that's shaken things up a little bit. Ruiz has come back out in 15th place. Oh, jeez. Why is it when we call for something to happen, it ends up being our teams?
Yeah. This is, well, this has ruined my week.
Tell me about it. We're last now.
I had a good opportunity for points. You had a good opportunity to beat the new teams, and
Even Aaron Einerson is ahead of us. Oh God.
I laughed to stop myself crying.
Oh, James Harding down the inside of the AMR of Lewis Ellington, and that was a great move. Very last minute on the brakes. Ellington
Brilliant.
very sideways on those warm super soft tyres though. Is he trying
This,
to eke them to the end?
I mean, I personally would, but he clearly has no rear grip whatsoever.
Yeah, there's absolutely no grip. I think we're just about to see him in the pit lane. Oh, here
Here we
we go.
go.
Right.
So
So Powers was trying to pit, and Wagner was trying to pass him, and as Powers has pulled across to make his pit stop, they've just got tangled up.
oh, this is depressing to watch. Oh,
Oh, yeah. And that's Wagner in the pits again.
yep. Just yep.
Oh dear. Wow. Yeah, okay. I think I probably. There was an awful lot that could have been done about that, but I think I'd probably place the blame on Powers, to be honest.
I mean, personally, if it were me, I would have slowed down to allow him to pass and then gone into the pits. But you know,
I mean, I could say he was. No, you can't even say he was showing any sign of going into the pits before Wagner tried to pass him. He wasn't. He didn't pull across until Wagner pulled out. So, but I think with pit lanes like that, it's kind of one of those things that happens.
yeah, I don't think there's any point in investigating it because
We're both screwed anyway.
well, let's even if Powers were to be penalised, nothing would change.
No, let's be fair. I mean, you could give him a 10-place grid penalty, but last plus a 10-place grid penalty is still last. So, although
I think let's punish their engines, the people they supply.
I don't think you're going to get very far with that one, mate.
Yeah. So,
Although that's great news for Westwood, who are now 13th and 14th.
yeah, good job for them.
And I think we're going to have a battle here for the last points position, because that is Beckenbauer in 10th, and down the inside comes Lewis Ellington. So Lewis Ellington has taken the final point on the penultimate lap here in Japan, and can Carl Beckenbauer fight back? Oh no, Ellington's already gone. Probably not then.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose he is on fresh super softs, isn't he, as opposed to the soft tyres, and that's Wagner making his way back through, unlapping himself, I'd imagine.
Yeah. Clearly just wants to have a little bit of fun in that car before coming back into the pits to end a miserable weekend.
That's just. Do you know, I have to say, as enjoyable as it is to see Franklin struggle after 3 seasons of winning, I do feel a bit sorry for you there.
I appreciate that. Yeah, but you know, maybe it's just us being given our last little bit of bad luck before we can shoot for the front in France.
We'll see. Let's roll on France. That's what I say.
Definitely.
And
we're on the last lap.
Yeah, we are. Thank God. But we've got to hand it to Simon. He's driven. He started 6th on the grid. His teammate was on pole, and he's driven a brilliant race.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I've never been the biggest advocate of Simon. I never thought he was the best driver on the grid, but he's driven fantastically today.
Yeah.
And
he's rounded
so
the final corner, and Adrian Simon drives for the line then to win the Japanese V-Prix of 2016. We have to wait around 20 seconds for Olen Inman to follow through in 2nd place. As long as he doesn't mess up the final corner. No, he hasn't. Olen Inman to take his best ever result in Formula Virtual and a 4th podium from 4 races. Inman finishes second. It's the first 1-2 for DS Mathishaw all season. Great result for them. They'll be absolutely delighted with that. And
Definitely.
Johan Halvorsen, having started behind his teammate, but with an overtake at mid-distance, he's just kept ahead of him. And Johan Halvorsen is going to come through to take third place in this race and the final podium position. Stuart Harrison fourth. Just behind them is going to be Jean Matson in fifth. So the Ingram really gained huge strides at the end there. And Milkovic will be sixth, but I think he's already been lapped. So he has, yeah, so that's it.
And you'll be really happy. You'll be really happy to know that the top 14 are all Noah's Ark.
That's lovely, isn't it?
So, yeah.
Yeah, and there we go then. We see the pit stops at the side. Obviously, the runners on the soft tyres are making 3 stops and filling the top 5 positions. When in fact, they filled 8 of the top 10. The only difference is Milkovic in 6th on the mediums and Lewis Ellington in 10th on the super softs. But Adrian Simon is your winner here in Japan today. Brilliant result for DS. So it's the second successive win for Adrian Simon and DS Mathishaw, but with Olen Inman second, it's the first 1-2 for the team this season. Johan Halvorsen completes the podium in third ahead of his teammate, while Ingram, Lopez and AMR complete the point scorers. And there you see towards the back the Downtons and the Franklins after the problems they suffered in the last few laps. But in the Drivers' Championship, we have a new leader. Adrian Simon now has a 2-point cushion back to Johan Halvorsen and 5 back to Olen Inman. John Matson and Nikolai Milkovic also making huge gains for Ingram, while Will Hoskins, 13th place, jumps him up to 16th in the championship, and Aaron Einerson moves off the bottom of the table, as does Douglas Bacon, who goes up to 23rd. In the Constructors' Championship, no changes, but DS extend the lead they have to 23 points over Meteor. But that's all from our race here today in Fuji. So from both me and Jamie, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time for round 5 from Paul Ricard, France.